Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Little King story playthrough. So, yeah, we made a bit of progress yesterday, which is excellent, really.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to make even more today. So obviously we dealt with pretty much most of the Sunflower Plains, everything that we could really deal with at present. And now we're going to go across the bridge and see what awaits. Also, we've got a new quest that we've picked up called the King Game Club or something along those lines. And we will certainly be taking that on because it's in the Sunflower Plains anyway, so most certainly we'll be dealing with that. Now, I could have sworn that I saw a black top hat somewhere in that mess of my Royal Guard. And I'm not sure why. Because I'm pretty sure that nobody has died permanently yet. So, because we're just going to go pick up the person who's washed ashore today. And there they are, we are all good.
Yes.
Sorry you had to die yesterday, Caden, but there's only so much I can do. That is something I should point out, that your citizens can potentially die forever. And it's mainly why you're going to want to be building all these new homes, why you're going to be wanting to create kids, because doing that is going to allow you to keep your citizen count up, and therefore mean that you've got a plentiful supply of soldiers. Also, it was at this moment where I was just like, oh, I still had that one that I forgot to do. Oops. But I just thought, you know what? Fed up of us getting stuck doing missions for bloody people who don't really care. It gets us a little bit of money, but I just want to get to the end of this section of the game. So I can breathe again and have something new and fun and interesting to talk about. Because otherwise, it'll just be a case of going absolutely balmy for hours. I mean, it's like, as I've said, there's certain games where it's just like, the grind is okay, it's sort of fun. I mean, obviously with the likes of Harvest Moon and all that jazz, half the fun of those games is the grind of just repeating the same missions day in, day out. And so, and Animal Crossing, and just going all about collecting things, watering everything and all that jazz, and I can't believe I missed this art piece. Seriously, what is wrong with me? Like, you would have thought in my explorations I would have nipped down there, but apparently no.
Yes, sir.
But, oh, we've got a hole. I think we should probably dig it up and see what awaits us beneath it. I suspect it's gonna reveal a cock-a-doodle-doo. Which is all well and good, just send in our gourmet cook and we are good to go. But as... oh, okay, no, we're okay for now. Because what can frequently happen, if you are digging up those holes and you get a cock-a-doodle-doo come out, if the hole gets bigger after that, then there is the very, very strong possibility that you're going to meet another chicken enemy called a Conqueror, whose name is obviously a pun on, like, Condor and, Concord and all those sorts of things. And also, there's another pun in there, which will make much more, well, a hell of a lot more sense when you actually see it. But, go a little bit before we see a Conqueror. We are, however, very, very close to where that mission was. There it is! that fella right over there is a Korobokle. Or a Korobokle. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. And it's a terrifying enemy to try and take down. Because it has a swarm of melancholies surrounding it. This is generally always the case, and he's constantly firing out these beams of light. And oh, there's a Conqueror! So, yeah, half the point of the Conqueror's name is because it's got a pompadour haircut. And I mean, the Conqueror is pretty mean because it's invulnerable to everything but your gourmet cooks. So, yeah, make sure you've got some along. Otherwise, you're going to be hurting quite badly. But yes, I think it's about time now that we take on this Korobokle. And all those melancholies. The only way to finish the quest is to kill everything, so that's immediately a thing, but I mean, this is quite nice because I can just sit on top of this level and the Korobokle can't harm me, but yeah, it's going to take forever because obviously the hunters don't really deal a hell of a lot of damage. So dealing with Korobokles can be quite dangerous and quite frustrating because, I mean, I found that the best way to really deal with them is to essentially do a quick bum rush of it, flee, let the melancholies return to where they were, and then you go in for another quick bum rush, and that tends to be the most efficient way, because then once he's out of the way, you can more easily get to the melancholies. Generally, I mean, the way that the Little King Story Wikia says is the optimum strategy. It's to try and eliminate the melancholies first, because then you can just focus on the Korobokle, which has more health. But as I'm sure you can figure out, it's easier said than done to lure the melancholies away, especially when the Korobokle has a long distance attack. So, generally, if ever you see a Korobokle, it's generally wise to try and just run from them, because there's usually so many melancholies about that it's just not worth it. And I mean, I had a really bad day for this to happen, because as soon as we are done here, there's another Korobokle waiting for us across the bridge. So it's a bit like, oh, for crying out loud. And it does confuse me how the Korobokle's scepter beam can just fly through rock, but oh well. I suppose it can't be helped, and Bailey's kicks the bucket. I'm sure we're going to have quite a few more deaths today. It's these damn Korobokles! I was trying to find out if there's a the naming, like the etymology for Korobokle, and I can't quite find anything, because I thought maybe there's like some sort of Japanese scarecrow thing, but no, because the Japanese word for scarecrow is Kakashi, so it's not that. I think part of it is the Korobo bit is because our king is called Korobo, well, Korobo. Yeah, different spelling, but so you've got the Korobo bit, but I'm not sure what the Kl bit at the end refers to. Because essentially the Korobokle is a scarecrow version of us. So obviously they've got a little team, which is it's a cool idea, and I like that. But It's just actually fighting them is an absolute nightmare. Because they take forever, largely because of all these bloody melancholies, and obviously we're already 10 minutes into this part and I haven't gone across the bloody bridge yet because of these damn things. But as long as I retain the majority of my Royal Guard and they don't all kick the bucket, we should be okay, because I only want to deal with the melon patch today. Because, I mean, it's a relatively small area, and after dealing with this, I think I was just like, oh, I need a break. Need a rest, because just losing so many people, potentially. I suppose we've gotten through this bit. It's the next Korobokle that's going to be the problem, isn't it? I mean, it's certainly worth taking down a Korobokle, because I think they do leave you with decent rewards. But it is just like, oh. And oh yes, there's a fountain, or a hot spring. Ah, yes, thank God for that. So we should be able to survive a little bit longer today than we would have otherwise been able to. And I should not have decided to start running, because obviously not everybody got their fill of the hot spring. I really do wish that when you set your soldiers and your citizens to work, they'll just continue with that job until they finished, and then just wait there. Basically, I'd like them to react like Pikmin. Because I think Pikmin pretty much got that down pat of you could multitask in a day. So you could send your soldiers, or you could send like certain Pikmin to go take down a wall. You could set some Pikmin on troops duty, or bringing items back duty. You could take others on exploration quests. You could do all sorts, and it was really fun because it became a thing of how much can you do in a day. Whereas this one, in Little King Story, you can't. It's very much a case of you've just got to stick around and babysit. And yeah, this is the Korobokle, which it's always going to be here. No matter when you come, it's going to respawn and it's going to be here. And obviously that is a pain. And it's pretty much why it's recommended that you just run away and run past them, because it's not worth it to deal with it. Thankfully, once you do kill the Korobokle, these melancholies will just die immediately. So that's something a little bit nice. But it's still not ideal. But hopefully that should just about do it, and oh, thank God for that. So now we can actually deal with the melon patch proper. So over here we've got a hole, which I think is just going to lead to a bigger hole and then treasure. Obviously that hole with the light coming out of it is important treasure of some description. It might be an art piece, it might be an actual treasure that we can then equip. I honestly can't remember. So it'll be a surprise for you just as much as it will be for me. So, what is over here? Please, for the love of God, be something good. If I recall correctly, I think it might be an art piece. They generally are. And I was correct! This is art piece number 99, the potato worm. Which is just ridiculous, but I love it. And here is another wonder spot for the melon patch, which is nice. And even though it's turned to night and these moonflowers are just waiting for us, we can kill them pretty quickly. So they're not really much to worry about. As long as we murder them and just see what's down this little path over here, I will be happy. Although I have the feeling I'm partially going to regret it. Oh look, there's an art piece and oh my god, it's Yvonne! And I like that we've got a gorilla potato, but did we lose somebody? Okay, thank god we didn't lose somebody there, but I suspect I'm sorry, Fran! Don't worry, Doc, we'll pick you up in the morning along with Bailey. It'll be fine. Mostly. So, yes, that's pretty much the melon patch done. And we only have a little bit further to go before we reach the bit where we can make that jump cannon. Annoyingly, can't really do too much to progress here because I kinda need arrows. Because if I send in my soldiers to start getting rid of this, all these logs, that Oni's just gonna start attacking me and I can't respond. So, I think we're gonna have to call it a day, unfortunately. So, while I would have, liked to have... Oh, yeah, definitely go back to the castle now. I would have liked to have made it a bit further today, but it's fine because we've swept through the melon patch, that's all cleared out. And so it's just a case of making that last little push before we can properly start closing off this section and start taking on the kings that we hate so much. And since we've got a bit more money, I think we should build another residence, don't you? I think let's go for... just short of that one, so let's go for Royal Hills, eh? I'm sure that'll be lovely when it's all built in the morning. But now, it's time to sleep.